Hi, good day. I'm African Crypto Warlord, and today we'll be looking at XRP and our levels from, for me, overnight, for a few others, their daily open. So we got into the markets round about here. Let's zoom in. We got into our markets round about here, and we pretty much said if it doesn't come down and touch our weekly mean, then we will see it definitely get faded when it starts to run for an upside VRE level, which was marked out in blue. So I literally am happy to trade when I know that, to me, this is inconsistency, and I prefer it to base itself off of here. So maybe there were a few rushed buyers. Now they're coming in and starting to clean the market off. As we could see, what happened is we came in, we bounced off of one of our weekly upside VRE levels and one of our daily VRE levels. The daily, one of the upside daily VRE levels caught these moves, but given that we have a weekly mean over here and we've just had a lot of volatility, it didn't come in touch. So in due time, what happened? So this is daily open. From here's new today's data. Daily open, we came up, we printed our daily open, and we got nailed below our mean, our first daily VRE level to the downside, and that just pushed us straight into our weekly VRE level. So what we're seeing here is a whole bunch of scalping action and a whole bunch more signal processing. Okay, so given that this was our previous daily mean and we've already blown through our levels, as I would say, there's a lot of volatility towards daily opening close, so you can expect pullbacks in those 15 minutes, 30, 45 minutes into those regions. So there's usually a play to happen at about 2 a.m. for me in the morning. But if I'm awake and I can get it, I'll get it. Okay, so we've come in, we haven't tested our daily mean, we're sitting on our weekly mean. There's a few active buyers and sellers in this region, so I think what would be right to happen is we push into this red line, and then from there we start looking for places that the indicator wants to base itself off of. So we're just on the 5-minute time frame here, and the peak in my bell curve with regards to volatility, that column of data has told me that it's zeroed out completely. So we would want to look for a whole bunch of contraction in these, let's just say, because we haven't had a perfect flash all the way through. So I know that it's weighted in this stage, it's currently weighted to the left. So small numbers are increasing. Thus meaning that these volatile moves in comparison from here to here, these will be about the percentage returns you should expect until we flash again for all of them. Okay, so we've come in, we're nailing we've got a couple active buyers. They're just above the VRE level. How many millicents are we out by? 1. That will be a fair play. So they're coming in to touch it again. Ideally, this is on Binance at least. This is a higher low at the current stage. So if we were to go look back on other return oscillators, we have that mean reverting. What's our Shannon saying? This is just a quick 5-minute because there's quite a lot of volatility in the market. This is confused. So let's go see what's going to be playing ourselves around. Are we going to touch? So here you go. If we close below this line, so if this candle, the one that opens next, and closes below this line, that will confirm mean reversion to the downside on the 5-minute. So there will be more continuation to be seen. This can expand further out. That will then get pushed into its trend to its downside, and this will continue through this level. Just off of seeing our VRE, how we're expanding, you'll want to go long once this flash is ended. So that's something you'll be looking out for, and the thing that can stop that flash is this region. But it can also be blue for a long time, right? So there you go. If it prints here, that's gonna cause more continuation to the downside. And let's see. That would be the region that you'd be looking for. Now, if you're to look for continuation, is one of these two levels. So we'll put both of them up in yellow, considering that we have some volatility coming through the books that's looking to expand here on Shannon. Okay, that will be for furthermore continuation of dump. There is someone spraying the order book right now. This is quite interesting. Let's go put it on the 1 minute whilst we're here. Put it there, put it there. Okay, see if we're going to get some continuation. So we're on the outlier. This is looking, there we go. So this will be our candle that will be fought for right now. It's quite confused. There's our blue flash off. Let me throw my JMA on. Are we being cupped underneath of it? So a close above the JMA would more than likely turn most of this data around, but you would want it to get not this print, the next print up there. That's where it wants to be. We sort of want to close just a little lower than all the way up here, otherwise this data starts to get extended. Okay, otherwise that's for bulls, and there's your continuation. So we're looking for those regions. I'm going to go see if we're going to have 90-minute dragging through. Wow, there are some big boys coming into the market. So this is hitting outlier points, denied mean reversion, positive. So that adds to these targets to the downside. Then we can go look at, let's say, the 3 hour. Let's double up, see if that's confirming. So that's crossed to the downside a little bit here, waiting to expand. Our first one, we'll see if it's wanting to contract. Volatility is contracting whilst negatively correlated. That's these little bots that are spraying up in the market down here. Okay, there we're going to catch this trend, and the trend is increasing to the downside, so that puts more pressure on these areas. Let's go look at our 5-day, considering this has been quite a big candle to open this up with, and we're pretty much only 13 hours through the day. Okay, contraction. Yep. So this again, as much as it's run all the way through, the candle close is wanting to at least close not as big as this one. So to keep itself in this range, that would make that this next one contract. From here, I would say these things are looking a little overextended, but when this flashes red for expansion, it's still negatively correlated, so there might be a push again back down. 2 closes below the JMA that you can see here, and that is my confirmation to the downside. Okay, same way it is to the upside, at least for a longer term plays. 2 candle closes below, and then you're running through. Okay, then we can go look at 3 days. So the 5-day, that was negative returns coming in our first. Guys, to the downside, we've come up, we've hit one of our power means, and when we last looked at this, we were stuck in this region, and we said that it would come up to just above the JMA and then push. So that's happy days, 24 hours. Let's go look for drift. Volatility is really wanting to pick up here. This is quite good to see contraction, negatively correlated. So that's supposed to say that there'll be drift up. Our return oscillator has been denied mean reversion. Trend is decaying. We're leaving we've had our red flashes, and now we're leaving to the downside. Mean reversion denied. 12 hour. Oof, maybe we should just go pop that on the 15-minute, 12 hour, also confused. Let's go put it on the 5-minute, which we're viewing it on. There is some pickup happening. So through, let's put these, where did we identify? So that is helping deny mean reversion. This has hit its outlier. That's still in its trend mode. Expansion. These candles are expansion, negative correlation. So now it gets quite hard to make this one go red, because this has been quite a big candle already. So contraction can come through the books. Yeah, interesting place. As we saw in the higher term time frames, there's a lot more pressure to say that we can get to the downside a lot quicker. Not gonna say a lot easier, just a lot quicker. And yeah, so look for maybe some more continuation if we don't get to these levels. If we get to these levels, look for a little bit of bounce back, which would be scalped at 3744 will be the first scalp, so we'll make that blue. 3744, and we'll make that blue for the first initial scalp off of any price action from this region. If it wants to get back up, it's gonna have to nail that, get through this. Until then, it can just make noise and build more bear div. See, this is the problem now. So you have an RO on the 5 minute that's wanting to mean revert, right? But it hasn't hit a level. One of these levels hasn't been hit. So as much as this thing wants to run to the upside, as soon as it hits its outlier, let's put this over here, make that a bit smaller. As soon as it hits its outlier, which could easily be one of these, depending on how long price action takes, we can put on a reverse wave trend. Wait for it to load. Wow. You can put up on a reverse wave trend, see where that level is. That's if it breaks for the outlier. If it's upside here, we know it'll be scalped. There's your reverse wave trend. So in due time, your reverse wave trend will be in this region once these candles get up there. So you can have a lot of selling pressure in this region for continuation to the downside, considering that this hasn't based off any data. It's not even on our higher term. Reverse wave trend hasn't come in and touched that. I like my data to be confluence, because we can see that when it comes in and it barely touches a daily mean or something like this, right here, our weekly mean for the first touch when we were recording, I knew that it was going to carry on for the downside. As much as it had hopium to the upside, because it didn't base off of a decent mathematical level, which is standard deviation of a mean out or something like that, these pushes can get faded into quite quickly. Okay, so we have a doji, 2 candle closes above that, and then you'll look for continuation to the upside for these VRE levels. So let me turn the reverse wave trend off, and let's just go put it back on. I'm going to look at 6 hour, and then I'm going to look at, so 6 hour super scalp is mean reverting. You're looking for continuation on your return oscillator. Let's get those off, and there you go. One of our power means after this print will pretty much be touching this VRE level, so you could say there will be a little bit of pullback to 3744, which can be the initial scalp through back down, considering we have come in and touched one of these regions. Market can get really wonky. If these candles start to close above here, then it can push really hard to the upside, but then it still has to go break its daily mean, and that could, I don't know, that's quite a far way away. So to have this mean here for the second opportunity to scalp, if you get along somewhere in these regions, and as we've zoomed out, we've seen that we also have our monthly mean down here, and given we are about 35-ish% the way through the month, and we've seen it once, we've broken through and we've touched the monthly mean deviation level out. So yeah, there's quite a few. That's quite a big magnet, and these can be your levels to start basing data off if we start falling through. The more drastic these become, given that there's been a big one, more drastic that these become, these can be previous dates of data points that we can run to double check what's going on when we get to these regions. For now, we'll leave it off with this observation. That's the area that I would look to buy back in, and then maybe scalp either from here, depending on how much volume comes in to carry, or how volatile the market gets, with regards to maybe putting bullish divs on the 90 minutes and stuff like that in these mean areas. If that happens, that stuff needs to happen, and the data will reflect that once the candles are up here. So you just got to watch this area for a scalp. That can stop any other pumps to the upside, and that's your wicks to the upside. So I have a good one, and this is quite a far way to go, and this is crypto land from this region to that region. There's 2.4%, depending on how volatile this gets from this region onwards. I hope you have a good day further.